First story. Help. Wife, F37, and I, M35. I want an objective opinion. Situation. We had some of Jessica's family over on her mom's side. Last night, had some drinks, snacks, etc. because some people were in from out of town. Someone asked wife about work and she predictably rolled into berating them for voting for Trump and was about to start crying. Situation. We were at church small group a couple of weeks ago, and someone said something about not wanting to pay taxes. Similar thing, Jessica was triggered, was going on a rant. People politely stopped responding. Our argument. I tell wife that people don't want to be around her. When she launch into a triggered rant, and as an adult, it should not be so easy to be triggered. I cannot trust her to manage her emotions in most situations. What have not saying things and not making people uncomfortable gotten me. That's what happened in Nazi Germany. People didn't want to offend, so on and so forth. My point, even if everyone in her family went back and changed their vote, maybe that makes her feel good? But her family didn't decide the election. He won by millions of votes. Being triggered every chance you get and berating people only makes them more likely to be a Trump voter. I know this sounds harsh and maybe mean. Thoughts? First comment. Have you tried coming at it from another angle? She is scared to death, and this is a situation she has no control over. She is likely going to remain triggered. This is one of the situations that Drs. Gottman talk about. The 60%, 70% of disagreements there is no solution for. She has to choose how she regulate, but that doesn't mean you can't influence. When people are scared, they can't hear anything until they hear that they are heard. Try going on a fact. Finding mission. The facts you want are what your wife is scared about and how much. You only want to know what she cares about. And the only thing you want to tell her is you understand what she is saying and you care about her health and happiness. For this to work, you have to keep going until she softens up or feels that relieved. Somebody hears me face. She is scared to death. She feels like Hilter is back and she is behind the Iron Curtain. She is panicked. The only way she is going to be able to receive any messages of nuance, communication, manners, is by actually feeling that she is heard and has support. Second comment. She's not wrong. These are people that voted against her interests. She has every single right to be outwardly mad. Trump has made a political career with pissing people off. She doesn't need to act polite. She's matching energy. I'm proud of her. Third comment. Getting emotionally worried up is not the adult way of expressing your opinions. If her son is to make people uncomfortable so that they rethink things, being a big child isn't going to do it. That's incredibly counterproductive and only gardens their views. If she's actually honest about her views, she must learn to articulate her logic and emotions without melting down every time.
First comment. I get you live there rent-free, but that doesn't mean they need to treat you like a live-in babysitter. You have your own life too. She can't just rely on you to watch the baby whenever she needs a break. Second comment. If you're living there for free, they obviously see you babysitting as payment for rent. Sit down and have a conversation and ask them how much money they want in rent. Once they tell you the amount, give them the going rate for quality childcare per hour. Let them know you are willing to work X hours per week or month to compensate for the rent at a fair hourly rate for childcare. Then negotiate your availability in advance. Emergency babysitting is double the going rate, and still only if you are available or willing to make yourself available. Deduct twice the hours from your monthly exchange for rent. Third comment. Like this is a dramatic take, but honestly it's pretty dangerous. How she just dumped the baby and expect you to read her mind that you'll watch it. Like what if she leaves and says nothing, and you don't notice the baby is alone with you, and then you take off? I would get it if you were still not legally an adult, but you being 18 with a job is kind of a ridiculous expectation. Also, for them to complain, it's because you live there and don't pay rent and then turn around and get mad at you for saying you will then find a place to pay rent is ridiculous. It shows that they don't care about you actually pulling weight or showing responsibility. Like, would they stop expecting this of you if you started paying them rent? Seems unlikely. They just want a free nanny. Should have thought of that sooner or at least communicated that early on.
Third story. Ada for finally losing it on my mill after her criticizing how we raise our kids. E32F. Have been married to my husband, 34M, for 8 years, and we have 2 kids, a 6-year-old son and a 3-year-old daughter. Ever since our first was born, My MIL, 60F, has had something to say about everything we do as parents, and not in a helpful way. We try to be gentle parents. We talk to our kids, help them understand their emotions, and don't believe in yelling or punishments just to assert authority or whatever. Mill hates this. She constantly says we're raising soft kids, and that a good smack never did anyone harm. Okay, sure. One of her biggest issues is that we don't make our kids hug, or kiss relatives if they don't want to. We've always told them. Their bodies are theirs, and they can say no if they're uncomfortable. Mill thinks this is teaching them to be rude. Anyway, last weekend we went to a family gathering, and when we arrived, my son didn't want to hug her. He just smiled and said hi instead. Mill immediately went off about how disrespectful it was and how this is why kids today have no manners, I calmly told her. We let them decide when they're comfortable with physical affection. She rolled her eyes and mumbled, ridiculous. When I was raising kids, they weren't allowed to be like this. I let it go at first, but later, I overheard her talking to my husband in the kitchen. She was telling him that I was the problem and that he needed to man up and stop me from ruining our kids. I don't know what snapped in me, but I walked in and just let her have it. I told her I was done with her constant criticism, that we are raising our kids how we see fit, and if she couldn't respect that, then maybe she didn't need to be so involved in their lives at all. She immediately started crying, saying I was excluding her and being cruel. But my husband backed me up and told her that she needs to respect our boundaries. I don't know. Maybe I could have handled it better. So, Aita?
First comment. Maid of honor for a vow renewal. Just say your husband cheated and you're dumb enough to stay anyway and move on. Like WTF FFFF. After only 2 years, it makes no sense to have a vow renewal ceremony. Clearly someone needs to be reminded they're still married. Maid of honor isn't supposed to be the center of attention, but you're fine saying no for any reason. But especially because you're busy preparing for the birth of your first child you're 100% in the clear. And your sister needs to back off. JFC, you don't have to be her maid of honor just because she wants to stay with her cheating husband. Maybe she even thinks he cheated because her wedding day wasn't perfect. And that if she can get you to agree to be her maid of honor this time, then it will be perfect, and her marriage will survive. Just trying to figure out her logic, because I don't understand. WTF is wrong with her, lol. Tell her you're focused on having your first baby, so she needs to accept that you can't be her maid of honor. Also, tell her to stop stressing because it's fine, that you'll be her maid of honor next time she gets married, cause ain't no way in hell this marriage lasts another year. BTW, she's the one who's being selfish and a shitty sister, not you. Her. Second comment. Do what you want, but you're making it clear to your sister that you don't really give a shit about her. It's a vow renewal. I'm guessing all you have to do is be there for her and maybe make a speech. If you can't handle that, then if I was your sister, I'd assume you just don't care about me. Third comment. Your sister needs to get a hobby. What's selfish is asking people to give up one of their weekend nights to another celebration of her marriage when she's already married.
If you like the stories, feel free to hit the like button, share, and subscribe.